Count is the fastest way for data teams to create, debug, and explain complex analytics and data models. So let's say we work for an online retailer and one of our data models is failing and we need to figure out what's going on. So I've created a new canvas, I've pasted in the SQL behind that model, I've got results back from our live database. So let's start digging into it and see if we can do this in under 5 minutes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart my model break it down into component cells. And what that did is it took all my CTEs and put them into cells like this. That means we can get intermediate results of each of our components, as well as maintaining the overall structure and connected nature of our model. So it makes it easier and faster for us to debug. So let's start digging into what the issue is. So let's look at our final model output here, and let's start to explore some of our data. So let's go ahead and maybe we'll just look at our percent returned. Now already I can see some issues here, so I'm going to make a note. I expect more items with 0 returns. Now we can start to go higher up in our model now and try to figure out what's driving this issue. Maybe we want to look at something like category performance. So let's go ahead and make a new visual looking at categories. And now we can see this looks about right, but what we expect that these categories have these numbers. Maybe we also want to even just get some row counts for this, which might be helpful. So we can get the number of items in each of these tables. So 13,000 there. And if we were to check this table as well, we can just update this here. So we can see this kind of a red flag. We've got different numbers of products going in here, which is probably going to lead to different number of products going into our final table. So we start to have an idea of where the issue probably resides. So we go ahead and start tweaking our model. Now we could make edits here in our DAG real time and start to make changes, and that's going to update everything as we go. Or we could copy this over and paste it. So we have two versions side by side. We can compare them next to each other, which is the way I prefer to do it. And we could start to maybe make some changes. Now, if I suspect here that this is my join that's causing the issues between this two tables, I can go ahead and update this to be a left join. And again, maybe make a little comment to myself, updated inner join to be left join. And we can see really clearly now that this distribution looks a lot different and it looks more like we expect. So I think we're doing pretty well. So we might be ready to save this logic back into our database. Maybe we can get rid of this, and we can, if we want to do that, come into this final node here, hit copy compiled SQL, and what this is going to do, put into our clipboard the full query that we have again. So it's really easy to just paste into our database and save it, or paste into a PR to review, or wherever it needs to go. Now we're also in a really good place to tell our teammates and share with anyone who needs to know why we're updating this data. We have this side-by-side look about what the model was doing before and what it's doing now after our changes. It makes it really easy for us to bring people in and start telling that story in a really powerful way. Now the last thing that I might want to do in this case is I might want to set up some alerts, and that way if anything else happens with this model, I'm going to get notified, and maybe even the rest of the data team is going to get notified. So to set that up, I might start by using one of our templates. So go into alerts. In this case, I'm probably going to set up a template for duplicates, or set up an alert for duplicates. So I'm just going to write a query that's going to return all the duplicates products that we have here. So say select name So this is going to return all of our duplicates. We can see we've got quite a few. And when I set my alert up, you can see that this means the alert is on. I go over here in the right-hand side, and we can see I've set this up so that when this cell called dupe_check returns any values, which will only happen when there's duplicates, that I'm going to get a notification in our analytics Slack channel, and this is going to check every day and see if this is happening for us. Now, we are pretty much ready to go. We've debugged our model, we've got our solution back into our database, and we've set up an alert to see if any more issues happen again in the future. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. Hopefully that gives you a good sense of how the canvas can work, and until next time, bye.